Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so let's chant a little bit here. Hare Govinda, welcome. That's some music, I guess. Let's see here. Let's see here.
Bluetooth. The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
Yeah, I put you up there, Govinda, but you're not coming up for some reason. Oh, there we go. All right. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me? No?
It's very low sound for me, but I think it's okay for everybody else. It was the same before.
You can't hear me? No?
Yeah, I think it's my end. I think it's this end. It's very low sound for me, but it was the same before. You could hear all the other devotees, so I think it's my end, the connection.
Okay. Is the sound okay out there, devotees? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jesus, Srila Prabhupada. Jesus, Srila Prabhupada. Shri Advaita Nityananda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. 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 Nityananda, Nityananda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Nityananda, 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 Gaurachandra, Gaurachandra, Nityananda, Nityananda, Gaurachandra, Gaurachandra, Nityananda, Nityananda, Gaurachandra, Gaurachandra. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. I think I know what it is. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Closer to the mic, my goodness. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Let me know how that is. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Yeah, is it better now? Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. The mic, your voice is low. Oh, the mic, it can't be, it must be something on your end. How about others? Let me have some other feedback, please. You know, a lot of people, their thing isn't better, a little bit better. Come on, man, this is an expensive microphone. Well, it's not expensive, but it's a good microphone. Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. It's loud and clear there. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nityananda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Okay. All right, let's chant some verses here. Let's see what we'll look in here. Let's discuss. So this is chapter 7 in Srimad Bhagavatam, canto 7. Canto 7, Srimad Bhagavatam. And what chapter is this? It doesn't say. 7, chapter 7. Oh, canto 7, chapter 7. Okay. Let's see. This is what Prahlad learned in the womb. Okay, let's check this out here. Narada Muni said, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay. And then this. Narada Muni said, although Prahlad Maharaj was born in a family of asuras, he was the greatest of all devotees. Having thus been questioned by his class friends, the sons of the asuras, he remembered the words spoken to him by me and replied to his friends as follows. Prahlad Maharaj said, when our father Hiranyakashipu went to Mandakara mountain to execute severe austerities, in his absence, the demigods headed by King Indra made a severe attempt to subdue all the demons in warfare. Take care of this. Alas, as a serpent is eaten by small ants, so the troublesome Hiranyakashipu, who always inflicted miseries upon all types of people, has now been defeated by the reactions of his own sinful activities. Saying this, the demigods headed by King Indra arranged to fight the demons. So, alas, as the serpent is eaten by small ants, so the troublesome Hiranyakashipu, who always inflicted miseries upon all types of people, has now been defeated by the reactions of his own sinful activities. Oops, yeah. That's why, actually, they're saying that Jesus said, resist not evil. Because basically people are taken down by their own sins, by their own sinful activities. They reap a reward of that. And that's why it says, in the scriptures that these kinds of things must come. And then in the end, the Lord usually saves the day, but basically people are destroyed by their own sinful behavior. When you inflict misery on other living entities, it comes back upon the population, upon the persons who do that. So in a sense, that's why, this new world order, they're inflicting so many miseries on people now, and it's just beginning. But ultimately it comes back, because this is the way the world works: action and reaction. Yeah, and these people are under the laws of karma, because they're that's what they call this in the Vedas. They call it karmis. You're under the laws of karma, and that's why we need to become devotees. Otherwise, you're always under the stringent laws of karma. Even the demigods have to act um, in a good way, and they have to practice doing that, and it's a lot of work. But ultimately, this is why we're lucky in this time, is we have this teaching of devotional service, which is another path. It's not an evil path. It's not a good path. It's the path of devotion. And so you get the benefit of all good of God by following this path. See, and so that's why you see the devotees, even Prahlad, he wasn't fighting the demons. He wasn't fighting his father to win the good. What he did was basically preach devotional service at that time. And in this way, it automatically the demoniac energy gets defeated and rectified and all of that. So anyway, demons are taken down automatically by their acting against, causing harm and difficulty for others. May I ask a question? Okay, what do you think? You talk several times about the World Economic Forum. Okay, what do you think how this drama in the world will end? Do you think or know what people are going? Oh yeah, you see, that's the thing. It's similar. It's like this verse. So we know. I mean, anybody that's God gives them some kind of understanding. You know that this World Economic Forum is are like they're totalitarians. They want to shape the world under make it very orderly under a new world order where they're in charge of people. It's a power trip. These people they got all the money that they could ever get in the world, and now they want power. So this is very demoniac. This is why actually some people, actually, there was a Christian who asked a question: why is it that evil people are rich? This is a very interesting question. Why are evil people often rich? And they are like these guys, these elites. They're rich and they're demons. They're actually, as you dig into this, you could see they're like self-proclaimed Satanist. All the way up into the Vatican. We got all that kind of crapola going on, and they're rich. Why is that? See? Well, that's an interesting question. One is it's the will of God, and a lot of times they become rich by being corrupted. Just like a lot of times they don't deserve it, so they do things that are illegal and that are very detrimental to society, to gain power. And what happens? They dig their own graves. It's like the devil offers, "Oh, you serve me." Basically, you serve the devil or you serve Maya. Is you basically serve the evil and you do evil things to get ahead. You cheat people, you lie to them, and you deceive them, and that's exactly how they got ahead. Because otherwise, they wouldn't get ahead like this. This is the nature of the mode of passion and ignorance. People are then. Then there's the good people who try to follow the rules. Rules of the law of nature, law of God, law of society. See, it's well known that there's a law for people in the world that these guys are creating. And they make these laws for their own benefit, for the benefit of their elite groups, and so that they can get ahead. And often it's not for the good of the people. They lie. See, so you can get ahead temporarily, and that's what they're doing now. These people are these WEF are lying to the people, because if they told the people what they are going to do to them and the kind of life they're going to live, nobody would go for it. So you got to cheat them, you got to lie to them, you got to deceive them. See, so that's why there's this karma. They don't see these demons don't believe in it. They believe they can do whatever they want. There's no karma involved. See? But they just don't know the laws of nature and laws of God. So real devotees that are understanding in transcendental knowledge, they allow, well, not all the time, but they usually allow people to be taken down by their own activities and actions. So it's like Jesus taught. He said, if you live by the sword, you'll die by the sword. See, so by the sword means you can either fight the good, fight the evil. So you're both living by the sword. You die by the sword, but you got to follow some path. So this is the path I follow. This is let the Lord will rectify everything. Because if you even look at the pattern, see, people are looking for role models. If you look at the role model through the book Bhagavad, see, the role model is about Prahlad Maharaj. It's about Krishna's pastimes when he was here in Vrindavan 5,000 years ago, and other pastimes. But if you look at the role model that is being taught in these books, you see it's about making progress in devotional service. Followers of the are doomed, by their own actions. They may cause suffering temporarily for people here in the world, and often even that is something that we may deserve because of the way every karma is balancing, balancing things out. There's a good example of this in 10th canto, and good people that may suffer too. So anyway, there's a good example. So Kamsa, see, the demons, when they get control, they do these. They become totalitarian. See, you look at the people now, WEF, with the way the world is going, becoming very totalitarian. It's like we're in charge and you are slaves, and you do what we want you to do. You don't get a choice. See. So 10th canto is about that. Kamsa was like that. He aligned with all these different kings, and they were all demons. Demon kings, they had influence over various lands, just like now. A lot of demoniac persons, they're in charge of different countries, and they maybe they're just corrupted. Maybe they paid them off and then they become corrupted. That happens too by association and taking bribes and stuff like that. So in 10th canto, these pious kings, they were put in prison. See, even though they were good people and they were pious, they were put in prison by Kamsa for some years, actually. But it actually purified them to another level, because then Krishna eventually, they're probably praying to God, and anyway, Krishna came and liberated them at a certain point. And then they have these prayers in the Bhagavatam all about that. The kings were praying, this was because of the way we were becoming puffed up and proud. A lot of good people sometimes get puffed up and proud, and they don't depend on the mercy of God. So anyway, they were put in prison for a while. Their hearts got purified in that. Just like now, people's hearts are getting purified, even though they're maybe suffering. It's part of God's plan, so we do what we do. We understand what we understand, and we go through destiny. Anyway, we got a great opportunity here. It's a good fortune for us. We can talk about Krishna and devotional service, pure devotional service, and principles, and discuss what's going on in the world, how it relates to what we're facing now. And this gives us a good game plan of how to function in this world in this time. Otherwise, it's very confusing. A lot of people, they can't see, why is this going on. They end up suiciding out or becoming alcoholics or or drug addicts, or taking pharmaceutical pills like that Brave New World. If you see the Brave New World, you'll see they were all taking pills just to cope with this weird new world order thing. It was really weird because there's no privacy. Everybody knew everybody's thoughts, and they had to follow a certain line. And how can you explain the Battle of Kurukshetra? The Kurus fought against the Yadus, which was ordered by Krishna to take the sword. Yeah, that's what I said. That's the way it goes. It's can be that way. It's not written in stone that the devotee is not going to do anything. The devotee may just see, okay, that's happening, and not be bothered, like Prahlad Maharaj. And the other one, Krishna ordered the Pandavas to take up the sword. See? And actually, in a sense, um, even in the world, people are forced to take up the sword on either side because they're forced by the modes of nature. They're caught up in that. See, so there are different ways God plays it. That's why you see there are different pastimes in the Bhagavatam. Look at Parashuram. He took up an axe and he killed all the Brahmins that were they were imitating. I forgot. I got to read. We'll read that pastime. I forgot. But he took up the axe, and actually there was blood all over the place because of all the people he killed. It was almost like Kalki coming and killing all these demons and giving them liberation. So anyway, there's a in Bhagavatam that's about that. Parashuram is an incarnation of the Lord. I forgot, was it Shaktavesh? Probably Shaktavesh. Let's see, man. Another, okay. In several cultures, there are stories about the return of the God, Jesus, etc. What is your opinion about these stories? Yeah, well, okay. There are different ways the Lord returns too. Um, just like you could say Jesus was, if they say God, Jesus was God, and God is returning as Jesus. Well, I guess God returned from the time of Moses and then the prophets, and then he returned as Jesus. And the beautiful thing about the Vedas, you can explain it. It could be either God returns himself or he returns in the form of his empowered representative. Janardhan was actually reading a verse about this, and I got great happiness from that verse today. See, chapter 1 of Adi Lila says, Lord Krishna enjoys as Krishna. He enjoys as the plenary portions, like Nityananda, like Advaita. God, see, God is enjoying. God is experiencing and tasting through these devotees as these devotees. And he enjoys as the empowered spiritual master or the devotee. See, the Lord is actually enjoying. This is a great secret. This is when you transcend material illusion, you transcend material duality, and you enter into simultaneous oneness and difference, revelation and realization about God. When you become a real spiritual master, you will understand that. When you become a real devotee, deep into it, and you chant in ecstasy for a very long time, you get purified, and you see how the Lord is actually enjoying through you and as you. And at the same time, you're yourself. You're individual part and parcel of the Lord. And that's the communion. That's why devotees do pure devotional service. So that's why I love the Vedas. We're very lucky to have these Vedic scriptures because they explain a lot of stuff. Practically everything every question you can answer is pretty much in there. And if I don't know it, we just research it and find out. Yeah. Yeah, so the return of Jesus could be in the Shaktavesh. Say some people say Jesus is God, some say he's a devotee. Even in India, some people say Lord Caitanya is the Lord, and some say he's a great saint. See? But the people who really know Lord Caitanya deeply, they know he's an incarnation of the Lord as a devotee. Yeah. I mean, these is fascinating. The whole thing. I just feel so blessed to have this information, this understanding, these books, and this mantra, and these friends like you, there, Sim, and all these nice devotees coming here. It's really, really a great pleasure. I feel like I'm running out of gas. I don't know why, but I might have to stop talking for a while. right, so let's see where else we're at here. Oh yeah, here's a verse related to this. So this is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 4, in the introduction. The purpose first was, the first purpose of Lord Chaitanya was to relish the position of Srimati Radharani, who is the prime reciprocator of transcendental love of Krishna. Lord Krishna is a reservoir of transcendental loving transactions with Srimati Radharani. See, transactions, and this is where the devotee gets the ability to relish Krishna's name and his pastimes. But actually, it's the Lord actually relishing them. And in this yoga maya, this is yoga maya's spiritual illusion. Because on the deepest sense, it's all Krishna, it's all the Lord. And then he separates himself in this yoga maya, where he's got his devotees and himself. He's like the reservoir of these transactions. And the devotee is transacting with the Lord. This is their currency. This is their money. This is their business. Their business is to taste God's name and his pastime quality. That's the Lord saying, oh, this is the greatest transaction. This is the greatest business, is this business, this relishing the holy name of the Lord. See, that's what you get here, is that ability. That's called, you get the Bhakti Lata Bij, which is this attraction to the name and pastimes of the Lord. And you get very highly attracted to chanting his name and his pastime, discussing Krishna, like we're doing here, discussing the absolute truth. See its practical nature, its functional nature, as Tom would say. All these are the different leelas of our Lord that he enjoyed. Yeah, these are different leelas the Lord enjoys. Yeah, this is a leela. The Lord is enjoying this too. And as the devotees advance here, you'll see how that's doing, how that is. He's enjoying through your body, as your body. And as you're purified by ecstatic worship, more and more you see that. I mean, he's showing me this stuff. It's pretty, I mean, I'm just so happy to share it. I'm so happy people are coming to hear about these things and coming to that platform. It's just, I know it's the Lord's joy, but it gives me joy and great happiness to see others becoming real devotees. Yeah. So, one of the devotees today came up, I won't mention any names, no need to, and said, well, Gohari, the person got a letter, the Ritvik letter. Why aren't you following the Ritvik letter that Prabhupada asked that his devotees initiate on his behalf? Which was a good question. A good question. So why am I not doing that? Isn't that what Prabhupada wanted? Yeah, actually, he did want that, and you got to look at the time, place, circumstance that he gave that order about. It was a time when even his leaders were neophytes still, and we're talking about corruption. When you take the position as a bona fide spiritual master in the Gaudiya Vaishnava line, and you take disciples who worship you, that's karma. And that's why we see a lot of problems came about by that. Because you're taking a transcendental position, but you're not transcendental. You're not empowered to do that. You're not, you take that order like that. They took the Ritvik order, they speculated on it, and said, oh yeah, Prabhupada wanted us to be spiritual masters. I mean, when I joined, even in 1980, they had the high seats, and we had to worship these gurus as good as God, as representatives of Krishna. You go through them to get to Prabhupada, even, which was not true, because they're no better than any other persons that just came. I mean, they just came in like just a few years. All of a sudden, they're uttamadikaris. Just a second, I gotta see if I have laundry out there. It's raining. Just caught it in the nick of time. I'm all wet now. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so anyway, they took that path and they get corrupted, just like politicians when they get usually by hook or crook, they become in important positions where they're leading people, and especially in this Kali Yuga, so many people are corrupted, and they get their positions. They're not really qualified, and they do bad things, and they get more corrupted. And that's what happened with the gurus, and they took a position where they get power over and influence over other beings. They get more wealth than they actually really deserve. Matter of fact, they became wealthy, rich, live in palaces and stuff. Prabhupada got so many buildings and everything. But this same thing happened when Bhaktisiddhanta was here. People started to get corrupted. There's a pastime you can read in the Vedabase, in the Lilamrita, where they started to get buildings, and the leaders, these sannyasis that people are worshiping, they started fighting over the building, over rooms. Oh, we should have this room. I'm better than you, and this kind of stuff. And Bhaktisiddhanta, he felt disgusted with this. This is very neophyte. But they got corrupted by getting too much money and power. And so he said there's going to be fire in the Gaudiya Math. That's what Bhaktisiddhanta said. And then he told Prabhupada on the side, he said, if you get money, print books. Use the money for books. Because when people get buildings and this stuff, they end up becoming really mundane and corrupted. So that's why the ISKCON and all of the movements, they're just materialistic Vaishnavas, more or less. Uh, maybe they got some culture, so it's a beginning thing. So the question was, okay, well, why don't you follow the Ritvik thing? Well, I tried it actually. I tried it after I got before I was doing the Ritvik thing, more or less, before I got the order. I felt, let's do that. But it didn't work out, really. People weren't really coming into the group or anything. And then I got the order of Prabhupada. He came at a certain time when I started preaching and people started coming. And they were addressing me like, you're my guru, actually telling me that you're my guru, like they do now. Somebody, you're my guru. They just say that. So Prabhupada appeared, like right when that stuff started happening, and said, this has my full approval. You're doing exactly what I want you to do. Do more of that. So the personal order of Prabhupada supersedes like a general order like that goes out to all the devotees and everything. So that's a personal instruction. Yeah. There's even somebody who told me that Gaur Govinda Maharaj got the go-ahead to initiate from Prabhupada. He was the only one that really got it, as far as what I heard. And that makes sense because he was an ecstatic devotee. See, ecstatic devotee. If you're really ecstatic and you worship a long time and you get some maturity, then you may be used by Krishna and Lord Caitanya as guru in the parampara. You see, it takes some time, even when you hit the ecstatic level because of the mercy of Lord Caitanya. That has to mature even. You might be a spiritual teacher, but it needs to mature enough to where you become a spiritual master. Yeah. So what we're doing is really amazing. It's honest and it's empowered, and it works. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. Otherwise, love of God, people wouldn't be getting love of God like so many devotees here. So this is special grace for us all. You know, it's not about being anything special. It's about having that special mercy, and that's here, and that's what the world will see. 5 years on, and you're sharing Prabhupada's full approval. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Still working, man. Yeah, we're enlivened, right? Must be right. You know, we're so we're being inspired to continue on. I mean, you know, you could see where the inspiration is not really there that much. You see in the Bang Bang Kirtan, a lot of devotees I see. You know, it's kind of. I mean, maybe they. You know, I was in Mayapur and I was watching these people doing Sankirtan. They're going around with the car, and it was like just so dry. You know, so like regulated. You know? Oh, less sound quality now. Wonder what that is. Only Srila Prabhupada is a Yuga Acharya. Nobody can take his place. Yeah, you see, that's the neophytes. They say like that. Only Prabhupada is the Yuga Acharya, but it's not like that. Not necessarily like that. See how blank it is. Oh, only Prabhupada is the Yuga Acharya. Yeah. Well, how did he become the Yuga Acharya? How did he become a spiritual master? See, because it's like he says. He said the acharya is self-effulgent. They arise by the will of Krishna. It's not something you can speculate on. You know, it's not something that you can say blankly. Well, it's like somebody saying, and probably they thought the same thing, that Bhakti Siddhanta is the only Yuga acharya, and then you would have controversy with Prabhupada. And then somebody might say, well, wait a second here. Prabhupada proved he's the Yuga Acharya. Prabhupada proved he's the Yuga Acharya because he brought everybody to Vaidhi, or so many people to Vaidhi Bhakti, right? And Gohar, you're not. And I could say, well, wait a second here. We're bringing people from Vaidhi to the ecstatic platform of prema. I think that's kind of Prabhupada said the Acharya does he's more than a spiritual master in a sense. They make a very special contribution to the disciplic line. Well, we're making so many special contributions to the disciplic line. One is the awakening of ecstatic love, which is unheard of in our recent lines. Yeah. Look at Narayana. He's prema bhakti. Oh, everybody. Oh, prema bhakti. Oh, that'll be many lifetimes before that. And here we're making the contribution of devotional service in love of God with love of Krishna. Govinda, are you all right? Go ahead, tell us something. Let's hear a word.
Yeah, listen, you know, every time you share that order, it always makes me cry. You know, crying so much I couldn't even see what I was writing. I just know, I know it's so true, and I know that's why getting this Prema Bhakti, and that's why Prabhupada came in also a lucid dream, you know, and he was on an asana and I was on the floor after the class with you in Mayapur.
Yeah.
So many others devotees here having these wonderful darshans and seeing Caitanya walking with you. It's Caitanya in the river, your hands running across the book, and Krishna speaking. I mean, you know, you say sometimes first resistance and then assistance, because if you can't see this, man, I don't know what to say really. We'll keep sharing. We'll keep sharing. Obviously, people
Yeah.
kind of get
Well,
conditioned. Yeah.
it could be like Madhusudan says, but why? Why, after the order was given, still you were searching in different groups? Why? Well, I tell you, it's a big responsibility to figure this out on your own when you don't have one living person reflecting to you. I mean, I had nobody, not one person. That's why I said, well, maybe this guru, go to him and see if it'll work. And then, then I went to Jesus because I had an attachment to Jesus. Man, hey, when you see the universal form of God, I mean, wouldn't you question everything until you're really convinced about things? Understanding. I mean, I was like that, and things are not so clear, and we're in the process of getting clear. So that's the experience needing to happen. It's not like like a lot of people think. Oh, you got the order now. Everything's got to go perfect. Everything's gonna. You're just white as snow, and you're never gonna make a mistake. Everything is this is unrealistic. It's not the way it works. It's
It's
not
very
even
unrealistic.
scientific.
It's
Yeah,
very unrealistic. I mean, I could put that into perspective in my little life of
yeah,
why did after seeing Krishna I take drugs and drink and
yeah,
do all these
yeah,
stupid things. I saw Gopala Krishna when I was 20.
yeah,
Why did I do what I did?
yeah,
Because I had desires, and you speak very honestly in
yeah,
your life experiences of getting off the order and how that affected you on a very down to earth level that people can
yeah,
understand. Like when
yeah,
you say, "Oh, I think I go to Vrindavan," and then you put your baggage up and your pockets were you pickpocketed, and then you remembered the order of Srila Prabhupada saying, or of Prabhupada saying, you can't just go to Vrindavan. So
you can't buy it. Just buy a ticket to Vrindavan.
yeah, yeah. So you were learning. So I mean, people get so on people.
Yeah,
We've all got different paths we go through, things
yeah,
we do.
yeah,
But the order's here now and working and in full effect. Why
yeah,
not look at
yeah,
that? I mean, why
yeah.
did you get off the order? Who cares, man? You did
Yeah,
what you did.
that's what they do. It's like the past. Oh well, you went to Jesus, so therefore you're not bona fide now. Oh, you went against Prabhupada. You're not bona fide now. Well, am I against him now? Have I learned anything? Have I discovered anything? Has it not added to my experience and yours? I mean, you guys are going to go through stuff too. Well, you think your shit's not going to stink ever? You're going to always be perfect? It's not about that. It's not being perfect there, Madhusudan. It's about being empowered by the Lord. Forget about let the Lord be perfect. He's perfect. And even when he was here, he was making mistakes. And that was, he made a mistake by chasing a person with a stick. It was a big mistake to do that, and they wanted to kill him for that. See? But was it really a mistake or just part of his experience, part of the understanding and the growth of the whole thing? They're not, it's just learning. As a matter of fact, even there was a guy, there was a great scientist called Bucky something, I forgot. Buckmaster Fuller. And he said, people are really foolish. They think that people shouldn't make mistakes in this world. They're taught that. But it's wrong. He said, science is built on making it. If you don't make a mistake, you don't understand science. You cannot learn science. It's about trial and error and all of that. So why do we call this the science of self-realization if there's not going to be like some life experience in trying this and doing this and all of that? Yeah. Yeah. So it's not about being perfect. It's about being close and intimate with God. He's coming to us human beings and he's coming in a certain way. It's about knowing the process. I don't know anybody teaching the real process like this. I mean, we're really teaching clearly what is the real process of coming close to the Lord like that. What works, man. And this works big time, man. Really big time. Look at people coming. Look at how close they're getting with God. They're actually getting to know God as God is. Now I think that's impressive. even though it's coming from a guy with a T-shirt who went to other groups and went to Jesus and went against Prabhupada temporarily. And I used to, I got into, I not only did I went against Krishna. I put Jesus arm wrestling with Krishna. And I put the picture of the devil on Krishna. Yes, Madhusudana. I went all out. I was like Saint Paul, man. I went against Krishna, but sometimes he likes that. You got to be for him or against him, and you come out as saint sometimes. Look at Saint Paul, you know. Hey, man. I put Jesus's arm there, arm wrestling. I put the picture of the devil on Krishna's, and they're arm wrestling. Jesus was winning. You can probably find that picture somewhere on Facebook still, if you look hard enough. And the critics will come. Yes, see, he was against Krishna. He was against Prabhupada. Yeah, of course. All right, but what about now? Oh, we don't care about now. We're thinking about then. Because you weren't perfect then you're never going to be perfect, and it's never going to be right. Yeah, because Prabhupada was always perfect. What do you mean Prabhupada was always perfect? Nobody is always perfect. Yeah. It's not that he was empowered, wasn't he? That's you got to look. He was empowered. He chanted the holy name in ecstasy. That means God loved him, and he did amazing work. Yeah, not everything worked out that he did. Yeah, he was trial and error. If he was here now, he'd be trying this and trying to get it to work even better because he was a scientist. How do you preach practical Krishna consciousness? I had to do different things. I did things that didn't work. I lost people because I didn't do the things I would do now. I let them go to Narayan Raj, which if I now knew what I know now, I would probably save them from that because I would convince them because I've been through all of that. See, that was all important experience because now I can help people. I can help people who go to Jesus, even if they want to leave this place to go to Jesus. I could help them if they want. See, so all of these things, and that's how it works. They're very practical. Prabhupada was very practical. I think this Gaur Haridas is pretty practical too. I love practicality. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Okay, let's see where else we go here. Oh yeah, let me open the door now. The rain stopped. Okay. Saying this, the demigods, headed by King Indra, arranged to fight the demons. Yeah, so you see the demigods and the demons. So we're living at a time like this. See, you've got the demons, they're coming out, showing, I mean, God, even ordinary people are thinking, wow, there are demon people here. you know, everybody's waking up. That's what the apocalypse means. It's a wake up. Everybody starts waking up. And so we got the demons and you got the good people fighting the bad people. That's the demons and the demigods. And then we got the devotional people. Yeah. Yeah. So, but at least it's confusing for many devotees to see your path back and forth, while the previous acharyas came in a Vaishnava line without checking it out. But that's not true either. The thing is, That's baloney. You may say maybe Bhakti Siddhanta. Well, Bhakti Siddhanta had the help of Bhakti Vinod, his father. His father, he went to mediums, he ate meat, he went almost became a Christian. He studied the different philosophies. Yeah. So yeah, and probably many other things we don't know because the Vaishnavas have a tendency to be secretive. Luckily, we know that much. Yeah. See, so Bhakti Siddhanta could benefit just like you guys are benefiting from a lot of my stuff. You're not having to go to Narayan Raj group. You're not having to go to the Radhakund Babaji's or back to Jesus if you listen to me. You can stay here. You don't have to become a Ritvik and go through that one, hang out with all those hard-hearted Ritviks. You don't have to go to these living gurus who are dead still. They're not awakened. Look at all the experience you can benefit because I did it first. I had to go through the suffering first. Huh? You should be thanking me, Madhusudan. Practical stuff. Stuff people have to deal with here every day. I have seen how you integrate the spiritual and material. Yeah. Yeah, Sachi's been around. She's seen all that. Yeah. So Bhakti Siddhant, Bhakti Vinod, he checked it out. He's in our line. Yeah. Some people may come and not be checking it out, like Gorkashore Das Babaji. He was just, he was ecstatic, and he's a Babaji, and he was already there. He just came to do his little thing and go. I mean, he only took one disciple reluctantly, Bhakti Siddhanta. Yeah. And Bhakti Siddhanta, he did. You can't say that he was. I mean, he was actually. He was a real stickler for everything. They ran him out of Puri. Actually, had to leave Puri because he was so. If you would chant the mantra not exactly the way he thought it should be, it was wrong. Created all this controversy. Because some people chanted. Some people would chant the, one thing, the mantra in a different arrangement or something, and he didn't like that, and he would preach it vocally against them and
Yeah,
everything.
I think I think it was Bhaktisiddhanta who was against that. Nitai Gaur Radhesham.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He didn't like that one. No, no.
I've always liked the melody of that. I heard that in Purig,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's so attractive.
yeah, 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 yeah. He didn't like that, and that because of that preaching against it, his father even said, "You should leave. Go to Mayapur. Better to be there because they didn't like I said they're coming around and doing that. Yeah, I mean, but what's the harm? So it's just like a stickler for things. But that's Bhakti Siddhanta. I don't lose faith in Bhakti Siddhanta because he was a little bit like that. I don't. There's a lot of things I don't agree with Prabhupada that he did. I just don't agree. I just didn't. I wouldn't do things like that. But I don't lose faith in him. He was an ecstatic devotee. That's what I'm teaching you guys out there. Don't lose faith in the devotees here because they may have a little this or a little that or a little different. Do they have ecstatic devotion? That's what you need to look at. And otherwise, I would lose faith. All they're actually they go around now, and they look. Oh, Prabhupada, he used to do snuff. Oh, what is this? Why don't we all know that he did snuff? He didn't go out and advertise it, did he? We just now we know that he did snuff. He had a little can of snuff with him, and so they use that now. Oh, don't believe in Prabhupada. He wasn't perfect. He was addicted to tobacco, snuff. And some people they flip in their minds. Oh, let me go to somebody else who's perfect, who didn't followed all the rules perfectly and regulations. That didn't my faith. Oh, he did snuff. I think. Oh, that's great. Oh, good. They got a little imperfection now. That's wonderful. That people aren't undiluted. That the charyas are always like have to be externally perfect. Yeah. No, I like the real, I like the real deal. I like how Bhakti Vinod said things like, even though I can't follow all the rules and regulations of the Vaishnavas, nor do I care to, still I will attain all perfection by sitting in front of a Vaishnava and hearing Harikatha. Okay? That's our method here. This works like a charm perfectly. Gets better all the time. Back and forth, it was this way. Yeah. Yeah, that's why now we're moving forward, man, deeper, solid. Yeah. See, it's staying together. Why? Because the Lord's keeping us together. He's keeping me together. I stay with that now. I'm not wavering or doubtful a little bit. Like, well, I don't know. Am I getting this right, Lord? Maybe we should go over here. Maybe it's with Jesus. You know. So no, I got settled, man. I see. Oh yeah, everything is in you, Lord. Got it. Okay, good. Now we can move ahead and help others move ahead. Yeah, if you don't like it, anybody out there, just go to the more perfect gurus. Go to Narayan Raj, who couldn't distribute ecstatic devotion. Go to him. He's more perfect in the rules, right? He can follow more regulations, more fastings. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't know what he was doing. It's hard to know with a lot of people. But I'm sure he was austere because he was really into it. He would make some of those. A lot of brahmacharis left. I was talking to some of these brahmacharis. He said most left. He said they just couldn't. He was so tough. You had to really be austere, man, and renounced. He was hard on everybody. He said there were like 500 people came. Is left with 10 or 11 or something. Just because it's a very difficult path. I mean, and that's why people were attracted to people like that. They like the austerities. The people in general, it says in our Chaitanya Lila, people in general are attracted to people that are regulated in the mode of goodness because it's a higher mode. You become like you aspire for that. Oh, pious deeds or renunciations where you can fast and become impressed with that. Oh, you can chant 1 lakh. Wow, stuff like that. See, so anyway, devotion is actually different than that. Devotion is a gift. Isn't that funny? With all that austerity they're doing and all that stuff, and devotion is a gift. And they're teaching you got to attain. That's why it didn't work. You got to be in the mentality of God and his mentality. You got to do it he thinks, the way he does it. Not because you think, well, actually I know more than Krishna. There's basically it's actually that's a anartha. You think you know more than the real acharya or the real Lord. Okay, so Lord, this is a gift, and that's with the book. That's why if you get a devotee Bhagavat and you got the book Bhagavat teaching you these things, and then the devotee Bhagavat preaches that, you're going to get ecstatic devotion. Okay? That's the formula. It works. Proven already here. It was very clear that most people who follow the regulative principles, rules and regulations are hypocritical and non-self-reflective, even not realistic at all. Yeah, it is very clear. You know who was clear too? Even 550 years, Lord Caitanya. He taught Rupa Goswami or Sanatana Goswami. There's a whole chapter on this. He said those who follow the regulative principles usually give only lip service to it. And that was 550 years ago. Because it's hard. It's hard in Kali Yuga. The best you can do is you can get a sincere person and get them to do the discipline. If they got the strength to do all these rituals, and they may like it, they might come to the mode of goodness and like the regulative thing because there is a taste in it. I like to when I get into fasting, I love it, man. It's like wow, it's actually a happiness in that, but it's different than devotional. I mean, that was could be a support for me. Like I did more classes when I was fasting. I didn't have to digest anything. I could just go and go and go. I was in, you know, I was at Patala Beach there in Thailand, fasting 30 days. Can you imagine doing fasting days where all this food is and all this stuff and all that? I was just no food, nothing, man. Going on Sankirtan every day, giving classes. Oh, it's fantastic. And no food, except
I remember those days. I remember those days. I think it's a place that the W Economic Forum have had a focus on because they eat a lot of insects there and bugs, don't they?
oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Oh
remember
man, yeah. They're really into those bugs, man. Weird shit, man. Yeah, that's what that's what they have. They're already pushing it. You know, people. You know, they've been dumbed down by this Maya. They can't even figure it out. The masses can't figure out that those guys. They're not even elected, and they're running your lives. Demons are so arrogant. It's so. Yeah, that's when Janaki started hearing when I was over there. Yeah, 30-day fast it was, man. That was great, man. Lost 30, that's 40 pounds. It's great. Gotta do that again, man. I think also out of own experience that when you follow some of these rules and regulations, your mindset should be in the right place also. Not the business type of mood, the pushy kind. Yeah, and that's a different path. Yeah, that's a different path. Um, and like it's all inclusive. I mean, you follow the path of Vaidhi Bhakti, you follow the rules, and you're inspired by that too. You like your little programs and all that, but there's a lot less taste in that. This only can be taught by empowerment. You cannot teach Raganuga Bhakti unless you're empowered and you get the order. There's no way you can do this. Is this? It just won't happen. Yeah, I did 29. Yeah, she was there. I did a 29 days of fasting there. Yeah, I'm about ready again. I think I'll do that again. It was so good. We got to get into it though. It's the first 4 or 5 days. Yeah. All right, what else we got here? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to save this for another time. This will be good. I think I'm going to end here because my voice is kind of giving out here. I think I got to stop. Yeah. Yeah, Johnny only made it 14 days. I also did I did a 15-day fast two times. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it's good. The fasting is fantastic, man. I mean, I was surprised. You can re-heal the whole body that way. I saw things regenerate, man. I had a wart I couldn't get rid of. No matter what, I put all kinds of stuff on, cut it off, put these things on it, and wouldn't go, man. Just did the fast, gone. Body just uses all its energy for. It shows you the body is a regenerating. But do you think they would teach you that in school or anybody would? No, they want you to take the drugs. They know that fasting will regenerate your body, and probably there would be no sickness really, but they don't teach it because they want you to take the drugs. It's demoniac. People do things for not to benefit others. Trying to say here? What are you trying to say here? Okay, but person. Okay, True, but what I'm trying to say is when a person does something like that, it's out of love and not of the sake of rules or to gain something. Um, well, that's the mode of goodness. It's not, well, you could say out of some kind of, it's not usually spontaneous love, but it's out of some love. There's a little bit. That's the Vaidya. The Vaidya, there's some love. You're doing it, making a sacrifice for God. You see that, but there's not a lot of taste in it usually. That I would think. Maybe if you're advanced, there is more, but there's less. And it's very hard. Um, Yeah, and so yeah, and you say not for the sake of gaining something. That's what they often teach, and that's kind of the mode of goodness. But that's not perfect. There's faults in that. You know what the fault is? The fault is a person that gets. If you are lucky, you get the association of an ecstatic, spontaneous devotee, and by that association, you get a taste, and then you do things out of love. I mean, really, it's like you're not doing it because it's a hard discipline out of like a little fainter love. You're doing it because of eagerness. You actually got this Bhakti Lata Bij, and you're eager to chant Krishna's name because you want something. You actually want to taste the glories of the name. There's nothing wrong. It's beautiful if you do. You have spiritual desire, and it's a spontaneous eagerness because you have taste. It's like an addiction. You have to do it. You want to be close to the Lord. You got to know. You realize that's your life and soul, even. Yeah. Okay. Good. So thanks, Govinda, for coming on and sharing. And we'll see everybody later. Hare Krishna. Mm-hmm.